I've seen a lot of my realtors get their broker certificate lately. So we've got a lot of agents becoming brokers. And I've had several clients do it over the last 2 years, especially with COVID, because they had time.
Right.
So I think we've had an influx in brokers. So why should you be a broker? Why would you want to be a broker? And either stay with a brokerage or start your own shop. Does that make sense? Because there's a lot of brokers that don't break out and do their right.
I think the benefit of the education you get from a broker's license really does help you with your business, because you learn deeper aspects of running a brokerage that you may not use, but you begin to understand how that operates and what the responsibility is, and it also helps you know better what to look for when you are making a decision to make a change. Like I went from being a sales agent to being a partner in a company 2 years later, and I got my broker's license in 1996. But I wasn't going to be a managing broker at that point. And then I went to become a managing broker for 5 years, and found out I just didn't like doing that. And so that was why we had partnered up, and that was part of why we transitioned over to Dave Perry Miller. Was I didn't want to do all that. I didn't realize it, but I thought that was the natural progression.
You think there's things you're supposed to do as you progress in your real estate career?
But years ago, that was where brokers made all the money. And that was the natural progression.
Absolutely.
You wanted to move in that position and have that downline, But I think that today, the way that the market rotates so fast, that as an agent, you can handle at one point 20, 25 transactions. Well, I'll tell you, when you're handling 20, 25 transactions, you're fine.
Yeah, you know what you're doing.
Yeah. So
that's kind of my answer for whether you should get your broker's license or not. I think people should progress to that, because I think there's an extra layer of education that you get. And you also have more flexibility in your career if you decide to do something different.
That's true.
You have instant decision-making capability for that.
And there's a difference between being a broker and opening your own shop, right?
Yeah,
huge difference between the two.
Oh, yeah.
And we had extensive conversations about when you decided to step out of your brokerage and rejoin one of the more recognized brands.
Yep.
So I think it's, I see a lot of people breaking off and trying to do these indie brokers. And I've had several husband-wife teams that have left their brokerage and started their own shops, not necessarily to build some huge brokerage, but they're fully capable of running their own business, and they just don't need the support of a traditional brokerage or a regular brokerage anymore.
I really think you have to, it's another one of those situations where you really have to be open to digging down into the numbers honestly of what are you going to achieve by opening that on your own. Are you trying to define a new business model, or are you are you trying to create some legacy for yourself? But to me, at the end of the day, if the numbers don't make sense to do it, you're probably doing it for your own ego, and the ego is the thing that's going to cost you the most money every day anyway.
And one of the things that I did was connect them with other people that had already done what they were doing. So I kind of formulated an unofficial list of people, here's who you need to go talk to, because they did it and they can tell you the pros and cons. And I even gave them the name of someone like Jeff, who did their own shop, closed their shop, and went back to a brokerage, because they needed to understand why he did that too, right? And so I think that's, the interview people that are doing what you're wanting to do to see how to do it the right way, or what to look for.
Or did and stopped. Why did you stop? I think asking the question of why you stopped is more important than, because going back to 20 years ago as a broker, we didn't have the same technology requirements that we do today. Like, you need an app, you need to have a website, you need to have an IG account, you need to have a marketing team, you need everything. And it's not like part-time. That stuff needs to be happening all the time.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
It's really a lot more demanding than it used to be, of course.